Yeah, he had a great run, and it's fun to watch, and they moved the basketball. He was well coached. Uh, I watched them all the time. I think I watched Indiana State and Iowa, Caitlin Clark play about the same last year, so I was watching a lot of basketball. But I do a lot of college scouting, and I was hoping one of the Indiana State players would be on the radar, but you never know. They were so young. But
Larry Bird really said what everyone else was too scared to say. He straight up called Caitlin Clark better than Angel Reese, and did not even flinch. No sugarcoating, no media spin, just facts. And you know what? He is not wrong. Clark is out here pulling up from half court like it is nothing, stacking triple-doubles, breaking records, and carrying the entire WNBA on her back. Meanwhile, Reese, she is busy posting TikToks and still trying to prove she belongs in the conversation.
Caitlin Clark
Mm-hmm.
and
I'm a fan.
Angel Reese, right?
Yeah.
They're going back and
I'm a
forth.
fan of both.
And Jamil Hill says by the time Angel Reese is done, she's going to be the Michael Jordan of WNBA.
She said about Angel Reese?
She said Angel Reese, by the time she retires, can you pull up this quote? She said, by the time she retires, she will be the MJ of, go to Jamil Hill, type in Jamil Hill, yeah. She says, by the time she retires, Jamil Hill has made a bold prediction that Angel Reese will become the MJ of the WNBA by the time she retires. That's what she said. Okay? Okay. Let me.
And then Steph Curry backed Bird up. Shaquille O'Neal backed him up. Even Charles Barkley came in like, you all need to stop being petty and give Clark her flowers. At this point, it is not even a rivalry. It is a reality check. If the legends are all saying Caitlin is that one, maybe it is time we all stop pretending this is even close. Stick around. We are breaking it all down. From Bird's brutal truth to Curry's seal of approval and why the WNBA just became the Caitlin Clark show. Larry Bird did not just toss an opinion out there. He dropped a bomb on the women's basketball world. The Hall of Famer did not hesitate when he said Caitlin Clark is better than Angel Reese. No fluff, no public relations spin. Just a legendary baller telling the truth. And let us be real. When Larry speaks, people listen. Bird is not the type to throw out compliments unless they are deserved. So when he publicly crowned Clark, it was not just praise, it was a verdict. He compared watching her to watching himself back at Indiana State. That is not a small thing. That is an all-time great saying, yeah, this kid reminds me of me. Meanwhile, Reese did not even come up in the conversation. You know how disrespectful that is. Bird did not even acknowledge her. That silence was louder than any hot take ESPN has pushed this year. Clark's game speaks for itself. Pull up three-pointers from half court, laser-sharp vision, triple-doubles like clockwork. She is changing how we view women's basketball, and Bird sees it. So here's a question for the fans. When a legend like Larry Bird speaks this clearly, are we still pretending this is a rivalry? Once Larry Bird gave his stamp of approval, the floodgates opened. Steph Curry, the man who changed basketball with his shooting, backed Clark like a proud older brother. He said she is must-see TV. He praised her range, her flair, her basketball intelligence.
There's been a lot of talk about Caitlin Clark being an amazing shooter and just someone we're watching. Have you spoken to her? Do you know her? What do you think?
I've been watching from afar
Yeah.
and understanding just how much of a power she is out there on the court. The cool part is the way that she plays and her range and the level of difficulty on her shots is obviously a very close comparison to the way that I play.
I was going to say Caitlin Clark's been compared to you.
Yeah, but I think it almost robs her of like the rest of her game because she's such a good floor, she has her overall, floor game. She's racking up, close to triple doubles every night, and her shooting ability is, it's her superpower, but the rest of her game is as polished as that. And so it's must-see TV. I love what it has done for, women's basketball in terms of when she shows up, the seats are filled.
And coming from Steph, that is real. That is a shooter recognizing another killer. Then came Shaquille O'Neal, the Diesel. He flat out admitted he was a hater at first. Did not believe the hype. But then he watched Clark torch defenses from the logo. And just like that, Shaq flipped. Called her a game changer. A future legend. Charles Barkley. He never holds back. He called out the pettiness in the league. So the players need to stop being salty and start giving Clark her flowers. He straight up said, "You all being petty. She is the one bringing in the money."
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark. Y'all petty, girls. I expect men to be petty because we're the most insecure group in the world.
Oh, you are.
Y'all should be thanking that girl for getting y'all ass private charters, all the money and visibility she bringing to the WNBA.
That is 3 legends, Bird, Curry, Shaq, plus Barkley, all singing the same tune. And they did not just mention Clark's name. They backed her like she is already a Hall of Famer. So I have to ask, when the greatest to ever play are all riding for one player, why are some still acting like she has not owned it? Here's the thing about Larry Bird. He does not care about flash. He cares about heart, hustle, toughness. That is why his praise of Caitlin Clark hits different. Bird talked about how the best teammates are the ones who keep it real in practice, the ones who grind every day. That is Clark to a T. She is not just draining 30-foot three-pointers. She is diving for loose balls, calling out plays, taking charges. She is the kind of player Bird would have loved to share the court with. And the most telling part, Bird did not even mention Angel Reese. Not once. No backhanded compliments. No, she is good too. Just nothing. That silence. It echoed loudly. Because if Bird does not see it, why should we pretend it is a comparison? Clark is not out here trying to be flashy. She is out here trying to win. And that is the exact kind of energy legends respect. That is why she is getting these nods, not because of hype, but because she works. So here is a real one for the fans. Do you respect players who talk the loudest? Or the ones who just put their head down and ball? Alright, let us stop comparing Instagram followers and talk basketball. Clark versus Reese on the hardwood? It is not even close. Caitlin Clark is a floor general. She is not just a shooter. She is a surgeon, dropping dimes, controlling tempo, seeing plays 2 steps ahead. Her vision is elite. Her range is absurd. Her decision-making, NBA level. Angel Reese, a strong rebounder, solid defender. But when it comes to leading an offense, not there yet. She is a role player on a struggling team. Clark is the reason her team is relevant. This is not personal. It is just facts. Clark's game is polished. Reese's game still needs work. One looks like a future most valuable player. The other looks like she's trying to find her rhythm. So let us be honest. If both players switch teams right now, would the results be the same? Tim Hardaway said the quiet part out loud. There is jealousy in the locker room, and most of it is aimed at Caitlin Clark. He brought up how some teammates did not even help her up after she got fouled. That is wild. That is not normal behavior on a team. That is personal. Hardaway called it straight-up hatred. He said Clark is out there playing the right way, having fun, staying professional, while her teammates are letting envy eat them alive. And he is not wrong. The crazy part? Clark is not even giving them a reason to hate. She is not talking trash. She is not acting bigger than the game. She is just balling. And yet the energy around her is ice cold. You cannot win championships with that kind of chemistry. And Hardaway's comments make it clear. This is not just about Reese. It is about a league that does not know how to handle a young star rising fast. So here is a question. Should Clark have to shrink herself to make others comfortable? Or should the league grow up and support its superstar? Charles Barkley did not tiptoe around anything. He slammed the league's attitude toward Clark and said what a lot of fans were thinking, you all are acting petty. He said the hate Clark gets is not about her game. It is about jealousy, about how she is the one packing arenas, getting endorsement deals, and becoming the face of women's basketball. And instead of celebrating her, people are giving her side eyes. Barkley said it plain, give her flowers. Because without Clark, a lot of these games would not even be on national television. That is real. The man who once battled Michael Jordan and Shaquille O'Neal does not care about your feelings. He cares about facts. And the fact is, Clark is making the WNBA money. She is giving it relevance. So why the hate? Here is a real one for you viewers. Do you want stars who elevate the league? Or do you want everyone to play small so no one gets their ego bruised? Let us be honest. This whole Clark versus Reese thing, it has been blown way out of proportion, and that is mostly the media's fault. Every foul, every stare down, every post-game handshake has become a headline, and it is exhausting. Clark is not even fueling the drama. She is playing basketball, but the media needs a villain, so they keep painting this picture like we are watching some real-life soap opera. The truth, this is not about rivalry. It is about resentment, and it is clouding the actual basketball being played. Clark is breaking records. Reese is still learning. That is the story, not who unfollowed who on Instagram. Even Bill Simmons said it. The media is doing more harm than good. Instead of building the league, they are turning it into TMZ with a scoreboard. So let us flip it to the viewers. Would you rather hear about real game stats, or who rolled their eyes in the post-game tunnel? Shaquille O'Neal, Mr. I will dunk on your whole franchise, admitted he did not believe the hype around Caitlin Clark. At first, he said he doubted her, thought maybe it was just media buzz. But then he watched her hit shot after shot from the logo. And now Shaq is all in. He said she is doing things even Steph Curry does not try. That is wild. When a four-time NBA champion says you changed his mind, that is not light praise. That is the ultimate sign of respect. Shaq has been around the best, and now he is putting Clark in that conversation. It is not just the shooting, it is the swagger, the fearlessness, the way she controls the game. Shaq said it felt like watching a generational talent. So I have to ask, if Shaq can change his mind, why cannot some of these other players in the league? Let us kill this narrative once and for all. Caitlin Clark is not just famous because she is marketable. She is famous because she is great. Full stop. This woman's game is speaking louder than any highlight reel or social media campaign. It is not about viral clips. It is about the box score. Stephen A. Smith went off about it. He said, if you think Caitlin Clark is only big because of TikTok or commercials, you clearly have not watched her play. And he is spot on. Clark is leading the league in assists. She is already fourth in most valuable player voting. And she is doing all of this in her first season. That is not marketing magic. That is generational talent. Yes, marketing can get your face on a billboard, but it cannot get you 30 points on the road in front of a hostile crowd. It cannot get you triple-doubles in sold-out arenas. That is earned. And Clark? She is earning it every night. Stephen A. warned, if the WNBA starts prioritizing buzz over basketball, they are heading straight into irrelevance. You build a league around skill, not social media clout. So let me ask you, are you watching for likes and hashtags? Or are you here to witness history being made? Because Caitlin Clark is doing just that. Caitlin Clark was left off the Olympic team, and that snub told us everything we need to know. Here's a player leading the league in assists, breaking records, and drawing the biggest crowds. And somehow, she does not make Team USA, while injured veterans and underperforming players do. Come on, this was not about basketball. This was about politics, about gatekeeping, about some people not wanting Clark to shine too bright, too fast. Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe were heated, and so were fans.